Hi everybody, it's August 6, 2017. I am going to be reading some of this article that was posted on Activist Post today. 5G is an international health crisis in the making. In this article is embedded another article written by Jerry Flynn. Who is Jerry Flynn? Jerry Flynn is a former captain in the Communications Electronics Engineering branch of the Royal Canadian Navy. Flynn studied virtually every aspect of wireless radio communications, including radio theory, antenna theory, both transmitting and receiving antennas, the ionosphere, and radio propagation, solar storms and solar flares, the electromagnetic frequency spectrum, and he specialized in radio frequency spectrum, electromagnetic radiation and fields, and other areas. If any of you know who Barry Trower is, Jerry Flynn has a similar background to Barry Trower. Both Trower and Flynn are experts in this wireless technology that we are now saturated in 24/7, and both Flynn and Trower for years have been warning the public about the dangers. I posted just recently, just earlier today, this video, must-see brilliant presentation on wireless technology killing humans all life. As far as I'm concerned, it is a brilliant presentation because he goes over so much information, studies, documents proving how dangerous is this wireless technology. All gadgets that we are using, computers, TVs, laptops, cell phones, cell phone towers, Gwen towers, antennas, cordless phones, baby monitors that parents use, and they put these wireless baby monitors right smack next to the infant's crib, and these frequencies are penetrating that very, very vulnerable skull, damaging their brains. Okay, I hope that you watch this, and I really do hope that you circulate it. So Jerry Flynn, this video, by the way, this presentation was back in 2012. So Jerry Flynn has recently wrote an article called 5G wireless technology should be banned. Wireless radiation violates human rights and the Nuremburg Code of Ethics. Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada, ISEDC, needs to reveal that the general public are becoming aware. Needs to realize that the general public are becoming aware of a long history of corruption in the United States, which shamefully spilled over into Canada and other Western countries in or around the 1970s. Evidence of this can be seen in the following. In 1961, U.S. President Eisenhower warned Americans to be on guard against the emergence of a corrupt U.S. military-industrial complex. But too few people heeded him. In 1968, U.S. President Johnson, in his State of the Union address, promised to protect the American people from the EMF, electromagnetic fields, radiation emitted by TV sets and other electronic equipment. He subsequently signed into law the Radiation Control for Health and Safety Act. In 1971, U.S. President Nixon's own Radiation Management Advisory Panel warned him that the levels of ELF, extremely low frequency, RF, radio frequency, EMF radiation, then present in the USA, may already be biologically significant, that the nation's entire population may be at risk, especially if future generations are considered. In 1995, U.S. President Clinton released a memorandum stating transmitter masts should not be sited or put on schools or near residential areas. In 2004, U.S. Senator John McCain, who just underwent surgery to remove a brain tumor, stated, "We have compelling evidence that there is an incestuous relationship between the defense industry and defense officials that is not good for America." In 2010, U.S. President Obama's own cancer advisory panel identified the risk to children and adolescents from wireless radiation as the most pressing problem. Are you saying to yourself, wow? If you're not, then you're either not terribly knowledgeable about what these presidents have done, especially Obama. Because when I read that, I was wowed. This shows, certainly with Obama, that there is a deliberate agenda to destroy the health and the well-being of the American people, but especially children. If you don't know, you can do the research. But it was Obama who championed wireless technology to go into every school in our nation. And yet his own cancer advisory panel stated to him, informed him, that the risk to children and adolescents from wireless radiation is the most pressing problem. And then he goes and promotes Wi-Fi in schools. Clinton, in his own memorandum, states that these cell phone towers should not be placed on school property or in residential areas. And today, we are littered with cell phone towers all over our communities. And many schools have cell phone towers placed directly on the school property. If you are not getting the significance of what I have just said, then you need to understand that this technology, these frequencies, can induce an apathy and an indifference and confusion in your own mind. You are not clear-headed. Your mind is damaged. Today, in 2017, ISEDC needs to be aware of the declassified 1976 U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency document, which exposes what prompted and continues to cause today's unparalleled corruption, the U.S. military's determination to remain the most powerful, technologically advanced in the world, and technology-based industries such as electric power generation, wireless, and telecommunications are encouraged to explore and fully exploit new commercial applications of wireless technology. By doing so, those same industries on which the U.S. defense industry depends ensure that the U.S. military remains the most powerful on Earth. Tragically for all Canadians, and unfortunately for many peoples in most Western nations, are finding that their governments have aligned themselves with the USA, and in so doing they are sacrificing forever the health and safety of the people of their country, not just Canada. And today, the government of Canada still appears to be more concerned with industrial growth than it is about protecting the health and safety of Canada's population. Non-industry scientists the world over are worried that the new, much higher microwave frequencies used in 5G technology, those frequencies, millimeter waves, military applications. I have posted many videos on 5G, so I'm not going to go into that now. But yes, much higher microwave frequencies used in 5G technology have never been independently tested for safety, yet the Canadian telecom industry have already completed their initial tests to prove the technology is safe. U.S. companies are already installing 5G in some U.S. states. I posted a video on our former FCC chairman coming out, making a press release stating 5G. Yes, he clearly states, we don't have to test it, we're going to roll it out. Something was very wrong with that statement. And yet Americans were not alarmed at all. We're not going to test this technology. We're just going to roll it out on you. Americans have really lost their survival instinct, their critical thinking, their ability to understand what they're hearing is truly sick and evil, and they're not responding appropriately. Fifth generation technology, 5G, if implemented nationally, would further irradiate the entire population of Canada without their knowledge, comprehension of what is being done to them, or their consent. This would be yet another, even more serious violation of the Nuremberg Code and the most heinous crime imaginable, while the current and all three previous generations, 2G, 3G, 4G, of microwave technology, also violating the Nuremberg Code. The 5G will prove to be mankind's Armageddon of industry's own selfish creation. Now maybe he doesn't know, Jerry Flynn doesn't know, that there is a depopulation agenda in the works. But considering the money that the telecommunications industry is making on this technology, we are talking serious disease of the souls of those individuals in the telecommunications industry. The greed, just that they enhance their own wealth, is enough to motivate them to roll out a technology that is truly making the majority of people sick and killing them, and not just people, but killing all life. I'm not going to read the entire article, but he does go into a lot of what has been proven by scientists around the world, that these frequencies are very, very dangerous. World Health Organization even came out and said that these electromagnetic microwave frequencies are a possible carcinogen. No. We had our own government, the United States, conduct a study. I believe the National Toxicology Institute, or I can't remember the name of the study, but just recently came out and concluded, in fact, yep, cell phones, wireless technology does cause cancer. Government's total disregard for the health and safety of the public has resulted in a growing host of disease epidemics such as autism, ADHD, cancers, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, ALS, and other diseases of the brain, central nervous system, immune system, which most people had not heard of before wireless technology appeared. These disease epidemics are now common in every jurisdiction on Earth that has adopted wireless technology. Homes, dwellings are now far more susceptible to break-ins, intrusions, and the threat of electrical fires thanks to these smart meters, which are unbelievably intrusive, invasive, hackable, fire-prone, and very expensive. And Canada's national security is now at greater risk than at any previous time in our history, thanks to government's irresponsible decision to incorporate smart meters in Canada's national power grid. No national government today can be unaware of the International EMF Scientist Appeal. Again, EMF stands for electromagnetic field radiation, which is emitted by all wireless products, devices, but none more so than the insidious smart meter, particularly when they are operational in what electric utilities call meshed grid networks. To date, the appeal has been signed by at least 225 of the world's leading EMF scientists from 41 countries, addressed to the Secretary General of the United Nations, to all UN member countries, and to the Director General of the World Health Organization. That appeal urges all leaders to protect mankind and wildlife from EMFs and wireless technology. And to date, certainly the US, the United States country, has done nothing to work on the standards and institute standards of these microwave electromagnetic frequencies, to get standards and that are safe. Our standards here in this country are off the charts. And that's why we do have an exponential increase in diseases, in syndromes, in illness in this country. It is why we have an exponential increase in disease, illness, and syndromes in children. What we are doing to children, what Obama has done to children by rolling out wireless in all schools, in kindergarten, elementary schools, where all of those children are being assaulted by these microwave frequencies coming from their wireless routers in their classrooms, with their skulls that have not developed, with their brains that have not developed. This is too much. This is so, when you get how deliberate this is, you understand that we are at war, and yeah, you get very, very angry. But in conclusion, the world's only superpower, the USA, is dependent on the American communications and electronics industry to ensure that its military has the most advanced communications radar, weapons, and electronic warfare systems of any nation in the world. Also, since 1955, the U.S. military and its allies, including Canada, have publicly recognized only the thermal effects of RF microwave radiation, yet industry has exploited wireless technology, as it is now doing with the 5G technology, even though U.S. military scientists, U.S. non-industry scientists, Eastern Bloc scientists, and other scientists around the world have known for decades that there are hazardous non-thermal effects to microwave frequency radiation. Prior to mobile technology, few people heard of autism, ADHD, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, brain tumors, leukemia, and other cancers, which today plague most countries of the world. Scientists also believe that the overall total or cumulative amount of electrosmog emitted by all wireless products, devices, toys that now saturate the planet's Earth's environment literally threatens life on Earth as we know it. It is a tragedy that EMF radiation is both invisible and indiscernible, because it is literally everywhere today, and no person and no living thing can escape it. So, Flynn calls on the ISEDC to now heed that most of the EMF scientists in the world have called on all governments to place a moratorium on 5G technology. It is absolutely unimaginable. He says, were ISEDC to unleash on a still largely unsuspecting, defenseless public the as yet unknown hazards of 5G technology, on top of what the Canadian population is already enduring with the Wi-Fi saturation that has existed for years, it would be obscene beyond belief. Those doing so would be guilty of committing the most heinously cruel crime possible, knowingly and deliberately irradiating an entire national population without the people's knowledge, understanding, or consent. Absolutely unimaginable. And it is. Thousands, tens of thousands of studies prove that these frequencies are dangerous. Our presidents have had their own advisory panels stating to them the dangers of these electromagnetic fields. We now learn that Clinton signs a memorandum that cell phone towers should not be placed in residential communities and schools. Obama, hearing from his own advisory panel, stating that wireless technology is the most pressing problem when it comes to children. And what does he do? He then rolls out Wi-Fi in all of the schools in our country. All links are below.